watching GTA RP streams on Twitch, and it just kind of just like makes me stop watching wrestling completely.
Yeah.
Like I have to turn off all my stuff on Wednesday to make sure I don't watch any RP because I will get lost.
You can't miss AEW. It's a must-watch show every week.
That's why I have to make sure everything's turned off. I don't even play any video games. I just watch. I do it for you guys, so I can break it down. I can break it down as a fan's perspective, and you love it. And you never watch it, but you love it. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel, please. Hit the like button. There's a little bell for a notification. That way you can always keep up to date with the Shoot Your Shot podcast that will be out every week on a Friday.
Friday night.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Friday night, but like maybe like make midday Friday possibly.
Fridays are boring. Just kidding.
You're not wrong. But all right, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Shoot Your Shot, the newest episode of the Ghost Name. I don't know what the fuck name of my channel is anymore. The Ghost Name Greg channel. We had some interesting things develop from last week to this week. We may be fortune tellers. I was a fortune teller before on the sports podcast I did with the Super Bros. And now I have another fortune teller in our midst by going by the name ADDD.
D.
And though he is ADDD, I am the GNG, the ghost named Greg, the ghost with the most, the ghost from the East Coast. That's me, baby. You already know the vibes. I'm marking my loner boy apparel because you gotta, you gotta support the brand. Check it out. You use code GNG at discount, get yourself 10% off some of the finest merch, and we also got some new merch on the way. Yeah. I was trying to get my Chris Jericho moment in, dude. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Oh God. Woo. Ladies and gentlemen, I have headphones on, and I will have to say my ears are ringing. All right. So we're going to get into a little bit of everything that went on over the course of Dynamite this week. Talk about some more wrestling news. Wasn't a whole lot too crazy and spectacular, but God, was Dynamite a fucking doozy of a show.
Oh, sure.
And it definitely, if you are a wrestling fan or you're watching more AEW frequently, it definitely is going to keep you on and see what's going to go on further. The Stadium Stampede match. Some say it was, we called it,
We definitely called it.
I didn't see any other outlets calling for a Stadium Stampede match. I didn't even see what culture calling for a Stadium Stampede match. But guess what, boys?
We did it.
We fucking did it.
Who better?
We better. We are the number one wrestling podcast in Southwestern Pennsylvania, and I don't want anyone to try to tell me differently because no one can tell the future. I mean, if you're a future teller, maybe, I don't know, be different, I guess. But I mean,
we're not. We're gods.
We're looking into the future while they're looking still in the past. Number one sports podcast. That's where it's at. Rhyme that twice. You can't do it. You can't do it like me.
Can't do it like me.
This is why after a stressful day at work, it's always good to get on the cast and talk with my good friend ADDD about some wrestling.
What we do.
All right, so let's jump into it though, and let's start with the thing that I think I messaged you about, and I was the most appalled of. And I said, what kind of send-off is this for Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian's tag team partnership? Now, both of them are probably going to, at least Frankie's going to be doing a little bit more of a singles career thing. However, for Christopher Daniels to kind of get a cold shoulder, it kind of felt like as soon as they were about to do a hard camera on the two of them in the ring together, shocked that they lost, you're going to cut back to Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston just destroying the the locker room with nothing in it. And I'm like, well, what little bit added to that rivalry and took it away from an iconic moment? I didn't understand the point in that whatsoever.
There was no point. We had a team that has been together for arguably a decade or more, and you're gonna go to a childish destroying of a locker room over a celebration of an ending of a team. That doesn't make sense.
So since I messaged you about it, I've been trying to think of maybe some way, shape, or form that could make up for that. The conclusion I got from it is maybe Christopher Daniels didn't want like a huge send-off like that for SCU, because again, they are still going to be around. It's not like them themselves are retiring or stepped away from the ring. They're just no longer going to tag together. So in my point of view, I as a fan, I wanted more of a send-off so I can see like someone of, you know, who's put that long into the ring and who's been a tag team for that long together. To bring that out and show that more and, you know, at least have like a send off rather than just, you know, teasing it and then cutting back to some bullshit. And we got a camera in the back. And I'm like, okay, well, what can this wait till after this? Because even when Jim Ross says we're getting a camera back there, it's like, no, wait till after the commercial break. Let's finish what we got going on in the ring. Let's enjoy this. Let's celebrate this. And then we can go and deal with the childish shenanigans in the back. It just makes sense, right? Am I just too dumb to think that?
It makes perfect sense. I mean, sure, you further a feud with the Young Bucks and Moxley and Eddie Kingston, but it wasn't the time.
No, hell no. And was it good for them to leave on that note against the Young Bucks? It felt everything like the stars were aligned. The way the match went down, yeah, it sucked. But I can't take that back. The match didn't necessarily suck. But, you know, them losing sucked and them never being a tag team again sucked as that point of view. The match was fantastic. I want to get that out of the way now. I've seen the Young Bucks and I've seen the Addiction. I've seen SCU. I've seen, you know, Frankie and Christopher Daniels face the Young Bucks plenty of times. They never once disappointed. I did notice, and I don't know if you noticed this, when he tried doing the best moonsault ever and you know, flubbed it up, the way Jim Ross tried to go ahead and try to make up for that by saying, oh, he lost so much blood that, you know, it cost him a second to like lose his balance. Man, but you heard it and you see it on his face. He fucked that up. Like he messed that up bad. Well, not bad, but he messed it up.
They're messing it up for a year now. You saw that one against Pentagon. They keep showing over and over again.
It's the best moonsault ever. I mean, you go tell Christopher Daniels and his eyeliner. Remember that time that we were at a Ring of Honor show and you told me tell Christopher Daniels he has eyeliner? I did that and he gave me a really bad death stare. That's how I'm always remember Christopher Daniels now. But you know what I noticed? Really doesn't wear eyeliner that much anymore.
No.
I guess that's heel Christopher Daniels who wants to wear eyeliner.
Maybe Christopher Daniels is going away. Maybe we're gonna get a Curry Man back.
All right. I was thinking more of the Fallen Angel, or you know, like his demonic gimmick he had in TNA, which I really enjoyed of Christopher Daniels.
Yeah.
However, I think with his age and I think in the position he's at in AEW, the best decision probably for him would be just to sit back and like just coach the new guys coming through. You know, they already are elite, all pun intended, but you put them back there with a lot of the guys and teaching them the way. Honestly, you're going to have a great company for the next few years. You're going to have like another Arn Anderson, even though Arn Anderson's even with AEW at this point in time, but how he was backstage and worked with everybody, he's going to be just as good at that, if not better. Then you have Frankie Kazarian, who's just like him, if not better. It just makes sense. It's like the Fall of 76 got meme. It just makes sense.
Right.
So, like I said, and when we were even talking about it, I couldn't even make it seem as if, you know, as a fan, perspective, it sucks. But I'm sure Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian behind the scenes probably, put two and two together. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bang.
Yeah, some people are even saying that with there being interference, maybe it's not going to end that way, but I don't buy that either. I think it's
Well, I think even if you do end it that way, it's not if they end it that way, it's not even super bad, because if you think about it, the losing to the Young Bucks, though that's heel Young Bucks, is still not the worst thing. Like, it's really not the worst thing whatsoever. However, I don't know. It's just hard to say because one, I care about both of them equally, and two, I think it was, if there was a way to go out, that was the best way.
I mean, you're not wrong. Lose to the best team in the business right now.
With the most heat, because realistically, you're putting the most heat on that tag team as well.
I mean, then you got Gallows out there looking like a fucking idiot.
First off, I want to compliment the 90s streetwear that everyone is wearing as well. Like, this whole like Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson, Young Bucks thing that they got going on. It's like they're bringing back like the retro 1990s like DX and all that factions, but they're just putting like a 2020 spin on it. And dude, I'm all over it. I think it's fire. Like the little danglies, like I'll never have one, but the dude wearing it, like that dude's a G. That's a G, my guy. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He's gonna kiss.
And I like all the small jabs. I even enjoyed the I'm sorry, I love you kick in the face they did to Christopher Daniels. I chuckled. This is the unfortunate thing is like I'm supposed to be the guy who likes the face up most of the time. But when it comes to the Kenny and the Young Bucks, dude, I ain't held with the faces, bro. I'm all full heel when it comes to them, but I'm cool with all the other faces. It's weird. It's weird, dude. It really is. I don't get it, but I'm not gonna say no to it because, dude, those guys they put the best show on every week, and they showed it last week. Even though, and we're gonna segue to this real quick, the bullshit that Kenny Omega did during the Orange Cassidy Pac match.
Oh yeah,
it's phenomenal, except for the fact that he wants to go interfere. Plus, there may have been a speculation of an injury of Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, I heard that the original plan was a 20-minute draw to set up a triple threat, and with the injury potential, they switched it to Kenny's angle,
which could be good or bad. I think it's probably one of the best things probably for. I just realized that my camera is hella white, so we're gonna go ahead and play with this, and we're not gonna make it that bright.
A ghost, but he doesn't want to be that white.
I love the name Ghost, but I do not want to portray like an actual ghost. So yes, you guys are gonna see a little. I'll keep this in the video. You will see some lighting changes. I do apologize, but I am the ghost with the most, but I'm not as pale as I look. I promise you. But the Kenny Omega, I think, honestly, probably helps the case more coming out and making the attack on them. I think it just adds more to the heels. Like, oh, I'll take anybody. It doesn't matter who it is, because we all know he's probably going to win. Orange Cassidy's time with the belt's not now. Pac will always be that really good contender, but until they honestly feel comfortable enough for him, or have like this whole like things with the virus, with all like the new, with the virus going on and whatnot. So they're going to probably take their time with probably trying to get him any major title belt changes. We already had one huge one. I want to get to that at the end. But it's Pac feels really lost in the shuffle, which is really unfortunate for him because he really is a top dog. But for me personally, as an NA promoter, I wouldn't have him neither champ. I'd have maybe like a tag champion, but you have them also paired up with the Death Triangle, which I know you have some thoughts on that, which I want to get into as well. but it's just hard for me to see Pac as a real player right now.
I mean, he was stuck in England or wherever due to the virus, so that kind of ruined his momentum. I don't think he's ever truly gotten that back. He he needs to be in that triple threat match because you want a great match to focus on, and I don't think Orange Cassidy can give Kenny Omega that great match.
No, because I think many people are probably coming and looking at Kenny Omega versus Orange Cassidy as a straight dismantle. A wild thing that could happen is that Orange Cassidy does pick up the win, and they kind of bamboozle us all because you and I were both in agreement last week that Orange Cassidy was more than likely going to win this match.
We thought he was.
And then the match was fantastic by all means. But I'd like to know where more the injury, because I know when he did that original first powerbomb, whenever his face was beat red, I knew right there. I was like, "Oh, this actually looks bad."
It did, for sure. I mean, I always see the risks with the power drivers, the power bombs.
Well, it seems like this one, Pac was more so trying to get like a very power like feel to it. So he went full bam.
Yep.
And like it usually most guys, they kind of let it go. He was like forcefully thrown to the ground, which in my opinion is probably something that Orange Cassidy would like to see. That way he can sell it a little bit more, because that's his gimmick. His gimmick is being very, loose, relaxed, takes a lot of punishment and dishes out what it needs to and gets the win when it counts.
But do we know the status of Orange Cassidy?
What do you mean?
Is it a true injury, or was that just planned?
What I'm hearing and speculating that he may actually maybe be a little concussed, because I mean, if you look at the way he kind of hit the ground, I mean, with the way his face, because his face went beat red. Like you could tell from the time that before that, if you go back and run the footage, from the time that he was getting ready to be powerbombed to the time he was powerbombed, like he was beat red. So I don't want to say it was intentional whatsoever, but it was definitely maybe too much.
I mean, we know how Pac is.
He's a bastard.
Yeah, but we know he didn't even want to face a Hangman a couple years ago. Remember that?
I do remember that.
He obviously has a couple issues with some of these guys.
Well, I don't think so much it's with an issue. I think it's so much the fact that this gentleman literally was killing on independence. Came to WWE, was given the NXT title. Had a fantastic run with the NXT title. But then when he goes to the main roster, he's basically squashed and he's injury prone. Well, not so. I say he's injury prone, but I think that's how WWE seen him. I think WWE seen him as injury prone and inconsistent. Therefore, that's why he got cut ties. And then he was brought over to AEW, which I felt was probably the best option for him, really. I just don't think it's exactly going as he wants, as if another guy's, and I know it's somebody you want to get into, maybe his tag team partners, the Lucha Bros.
Yeah, they do a lot of crazy stuff that gets them hurt all the time, and I think that's one of the reasons that they are not, or they have not had the tag titles at this point.
And I have to agree with that. And it's not as if they're putting on like great shows, because by God Almighty, they're letting it loose as a goose. I mean, look at some of the stuff Pentagon Jr. did with Cody. Like, that was awesome. I kind of wish that feud would kind of kept going. That seems a little bit more interesting than the QT Marshall thing. However, he said, she said. But as you said, they do a lot of things to get them hurt, which makes them like kind of like, oh, do I really want to make them my tag team champions? Maybe they enjoy probably just going out there and putting on a show for all we know. And that's where it gets difficult being a fan to being an actual person. As a fan, we want to see them out there. We want to see them with belts. We want to see them holding everything.
Yep.
But does them as a person, like, is that what they want to do? And I think someone said this when I made a comment about Finn Balor one time. I says, man, WWE's wasting you. I wish you would go to AEW or something like that.
Yep.
Well, a fan was like, well, if you can make Finn Balor's decision for him, he probably would do that. And I'm like, well, it's very true. After that, that kind of makes me sit back, and now that's how I see everything as a perspective. It's like, as great as a fan, as big as a fan as I am, I can say things as an opinion, but however, I can't make that person do such. So if Tony Khan or if they reach out to Tony Khan and say, hey, we want the belts, I'm sure Tony Khan would be more than happy to do it for him. But I feel like more so they're kind of more with trying to explore the roster a little bit more, trying to get more people exposed to AEW and all the great things about it. That I think they're taking a step back and they're like, look, let's push all these guys, give us a little faction, let us make some noise, let us still be a part. And as long as we're wrestling and having a good time, I think that's all that matters. And that's how it seems as if to me.
I mean, that's basically all Shawn Michaels cared about towards the last 5 or 6 years of his career. Because he never even won the WWE title again.
And there are people who say, like, oh, I do this for gold, or, I do this for money, or I do this for fame. I like the people just do it just because it's wrestling. I like people just do it for the love of it. And I think the Lucha Bros, out of everyone, they may sometimes play as heels where they just want everything. But realistically, I feel as if those guys just really just enjoy the act of wrestling and just enjoy putting on a show for fans. And there's not one time that you're watching the Lucha Bros and though not being tag team champions, that just puts you in awe every single time.
Uh-huh.
So that is the greatest, probably one of the best things I could say about the Lucha House or Lucha House Party. Wow, I'm fucking. Ooh, ups and downs is in my brain right now because I heard them talk about the Lucha House Party for like the first time in forever, and I was like, what? But the Lucha Bros, they're probably one of the most underrated tag teams, but I think everyone knows that if they're stepping in the ring with the Lucha Bros, they're in there for a fight. So we'll see what happens with that, because you also got another couple tag teams brewing in the mist as well. You got Varsity Blondes as well. Jungle Express, I feel like, are due for a decent run at those belts soon.
They're there, but also you have to put the best friends in the mix still.
And I think the best friends versus the Young Bucks would definitely be a good show.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen them multiple times wrestle in the past. However, how often do you see a heel Young Bucks and face, best friends going against each other for the AEW tag team belts? I don't recall seeing it, because realistically, every time in the independents, the Young Bucks were both loved by heels or faces, and they didn't care whether or not they were heels or faces. So this time being in all heelish fashion, how will it go? I do not know, but I expect it to be awesome, and I expect them to have at least $13,000 worth of merchandise on.
Spent by you.
I definitely contributed at least $200 to $300 in the Young Bucks funds for all of their merchandise, for sure. Maybe even more. That's all I can think of the top of my head.
Into like 7 ROH shows where they were there.
I've told this to everyone, every time the Young Bucks were in Pittsburgh, after I first met them, that I would go and see them, and I would do whatever I can to try and meet them. Right. And I've done it about 7 or 8 times, yes. However, I couldn't do the same for Kenny Omega because he was wrestling in New Japan, but he did come to what he says is his favorite city.
And that was.
And after he said that, I'll never forget that, because that made me the happiest kid ever, because I was like, all right, my favorite wrestler loves us.
I mean, you look at the back of that DVD and you see how many people went to AEW like 2 years later. That's so crazy to think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at half of the decent guys in ROH were all in.
Yep.
At one point, we thought ROH was just going to combine with AEW and just get put on a bigger stage, and then AEW is born.
AEW is born, and now they're teaming with like everyone basically except for WWE.
And ROH is, I mean, it's not like ROH is doing anything bad, because honestly, for being ROH, they really do a good job of all their shows, and they've been doing a really good, show over at ROH going at, and I don't know if they're necessarily putting them on TV because I haven't been able to really see it that often. However, I've watched little snippets, and I get like the ROH highlights on YouTube all the time and whatnot, and that's how I keep up with it. It looks like a really good show, and I love Danhausen. I love him.
He was supposed to be in Super Indie last year, but COVID struck.
Well, COVID's going to strike a lot of things, but you know what won't struck? You and me are going to the Washington Wild Things baseball stadium for Basebrawl May 29th, supporting your IWC wrestlers at 8 o'clock, I believe it is, correct?
Is that what time it is? I haven't really.
I don't know. I'm just hoping to see the Dime Piece or Katie Arquette for the second time in a week. Maybe more so the Dime Piece, because that I really like her. She's cool.
I know. The man down, the Dime Piece, money.
The only thing both those guys got on me is muscles and looks. Other than that, I could please a woman 100 times better than them. Just saying. I had to cut that part out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the Dime Piece. She actually follows me on Twitter. So shout out to the Dime Piece for following me on Twitter. She's really cool, and that she seems to be some sort of gamer girl. Is what I've been.
Really?
Yeah. Since she followed me, I did some creep because I was like, oh, that's cool that a celebrity like kind of followed me. So I did some digging. She's into video games and stuff, so it's pretty interesting. I'd like to see more of that. Hopefully, we see like a Twitch channel or something from that soon.
Never know.
Yeah, I will be live. Actually, I will be live probably after you guys see this on Friday, around 7 p.m. Eastern. Maybe even 8 o'clock Eastern, just for the simple fact that I get off at 7 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, I got to make money somehow. Somehow I got to support this channel.
He's got to work.
I got to work.
Work.
I got to work hard.
Work hard.
Work hard. How hard do you got to work? I got to work real hard. Wow.
Idiots.
You just made the list.
You just made the list.
All right. We just went completely off topic here. But we will be there May 29th. The Dime Piece will be there. Katie Arquette will 100% be there, as well as the IWC Heavyweight Champion, Andrew Palace.
Be facing RC Dupree or Lebanon Dawn.
Which I think will be kind of interesting as well, because I do like the Lebanon Dawn as well. But RC Dupree is due for a big title picture. I mean, Jack Paul got it. Jackson Argos has it. RC Dupree recently held the high stakes belt. Recently dropped it to the Lebanon Dawn. I can never say that.
Lebanon.
I do. Lebanon Dawn. He dropped it to him. I believe it was. I was at the show, I believe, when he dropped that belt.
Yeah.
No, I was at the show when he won the belt. I wasn't there when he dropped it, because I believe he lost it when they went back to the Elizabeth Center in the IWC arena. And then that's when the Lebanon Dawn won it, and then he's basically just had it ever since. But of course, we've also been dealing with COVID and all this other shit that's been going on in this godforsaken world. But I think if you were to give RC Dupree a time to do it, this would be it. And not necessarily give him a belt, but at least give him a shot at the belt.
Yep.
And I think him and Andrew Palace are going to tear the ass down. You know what I'm saying?
Makes sense, right? You brought up Jackson Pollock. He didn't.
Jack Pollock.
Jackson Argus is what I was combining.
I did the same thing. That's why I had to stop and redo them all.
Well, Jack Pollock, he hasn't been seen in a long time. I don't even know what happened to that guy. Do you?
The last time we seen him, I think, was whenever he lost to Bulk Nasty, if I'm not mistaken, during the Washington Wild things, the last event they had out there during the main event. That's the only time I remember seeing him.
Yeah, he was supposed to wrestle for the title before they went away for a couple more months, but he didn't share that event, and I'm not sure what happened to him.
I'm not entirely too sure, but we all know that he'll be making an appearance at some point because he is Jack Pollock. He is one of the patriarchs of IWC since I've been watching it anyway. I would have known it. I wouldn't know what IWC was if it wasn't for the likes of Jack Pollock, Andrew Palace, Wardlow, Ray Lynn, Katie Arquette, Britt Baker. So, I mean, without them, I wouldn't even know what this Johnny Patch, of course, as well. Without them, I wouldn't even know what IWC was. And to my eyes, that's probably if I was to think of a face of IWC, it'd be them guys for sure, all of them.
Exactly,
because
they made it. They made it what it is right now.
They made it what it is right now, and they're going to be shaping the future of the IWC for years to come. And we see that with guys like Spencer Slade and Cole Carter. And I can't stress that enough how good that program has been of them over the last few years. And I love seeing it, and I can't wait for the 29th. And it's going to be nothing but an awesome show. I can tell you that right about now.
I believe tickets are on sale, though.
Tickets are on sale. I'll be picking those up relatively soon. And we're going to go ahead and get that show on the road. I'm excited for that.
It's going to be a fun time.
It is always going to be a fun time. And maybe besides the fact that Britt Baker's the GOAT.
I mean, Britt Baker is the GOAT. She definitely get a little bit better in the ring, but she's got the personality.
So it doesn't fine. You leave Britt Baker alone. Honestly, if you think about it, over all the AEW wrestlers, she's probably the most finesse in all of them. Like, she's got the most swagger. She's got the drip. She's got it all, dude. Like, she honestly plays her part better than everybody in that locker room, probably. Maybe besides MJF.
She'll be attending a little thing called Steel City Con in a couple weeks.
Was she going to be there?
Yeah.
I should probably. I might want to try to partake in that. I want to start doing some more vlog stuff.
Do you really want to go?
Oh God. No, I don't want to go with him. I love you, brother, but no, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Honestly, at this point, I could probably drive there myself if you think about it. No, I thought about it though. As you just said, I was like, no. Well, even like what the issue with that right now with the virus and everything, it just kind of sucks, you know. I think we'll make it less fun.
There's talk that if you're vaccinated fully, the masks won't be a thing in a couple weeks.
Yeah, well, I'm not. I mean, I guess, but you're also got those people who just say like, "Oh, I'm vaccinated," but they're not vaccinated. But they guess they give you this little card to go around, which just makes me a little weary about the vaccinations, to be honest with you. I do not want to have this card with me at all times. Like, I throw stuff away in my wallet just because I'm tired of looking at it. That can definitely be one of the first few things that go.
It's possible that they want you to just take a picture, have it in your phone as well. As long as you can show.
I also clean my phone often and will more than likely delete that photo. That's where I'm at right now. So until they make it a thing, I think in my opinion, yeah, give me a tattoo across the chest. Maybe I'm vaccinated. And then they pay to get it lasered off later. Can you imagine someone who has vaccinated on their knuckles like this? Guess what? Vaccinated. Probably doesn't even fit. They probably have to fit like a group of letters here, then another group underneath with like a line underneath. It's like it looks like Fox 53.
Instead of drug free, it's COVID free.
That's possible too. That's about the same amount of letters, eh? Wow, that made a 360 turn in a heartbeat.
Dude.
You got anything else to bring to the table? I bought a lot of stuff, man. I just wanted to talk about some of the greatness that was last week. We dove into everything. We dove into some extra things. But let me tell me something. Tell me something, ADD. What do you want the people to know?
Miro, Lance Archer. That's going to be a hell of a fight. You saw the end of it. Saw the end of them. Gonna be a hell of a fucking battle.
I got something for Miro, but I gotta leave the people waiting on that one. I've been you guys are gonna wait till next week for my take on Miro.
There you go.
But for right now, I think we've did enough of the recording of the day. I am the ghost named Greg, the ghost with the most, the ghost from the East Coast.
I am the Triple D.
A triple D, the American Daydreamer Dustin. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bang.
And
I don't know what he just said because he cut out, but it probably was something cringeworthy. I'll catch you guys on the next episode of Shoot Your Shot podcast, where we try to pretend like we know what we're doing, but really we don't, but we sure as hell have fun doing. I'll catch you guys on the flip sizzle. P Dizzle. I Rizzle. Bye-bye now. Actually, I'm going to be live probably after you guys see this on Friday, around 7 p.m. Eastern. Maybe even 8 o'clock Eastern, just for the simple fact that I get off at 7 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, I got to make money somehow. Somehow I got to support this channel.
he's gonna work.
I got to work.
Work.
I got to work hard.
Work hard.
Work hard. How hard you got to work? I got to work real hard. Wow.
Idiots.
You just made the list.
You just made a list.
All right.